Hey guys, it's Logan from Myers Family of 5. Today's video is going to be a birth story from when I had Harper. If you didn't already know, I am a stay-at-home mom. My daughter Harper is 9 months old. She'll be 10 months old on the 23rd. If I can talk. I also have two stepsons. I have Liam, who is 5, and Bryce, who is 4. Today is Valentine's Day, so I know it kind of sounds bad, but I figured today was a perfect day to do a birth story. We're getting close to her first birthday party, so I don't want to wait too long before making this video, and we are actually at home all day today because Harper has another terrible ear infection. Well, her last one is just not clearing up. It just keeps getting worse, even with antibiotics, so we are doing 3 rounds of shots for those to help clear up, and then we are also getting tubes put in. I'm waiting to hear from the ear, nose, and throat specialist to schedule her appointment for that, but that is on our radar soon, unfortunately. I hope and pray that we wouldn't have to do those with her because both the boys have them, but lo and behold, she's got her daddy's ears. So you got your daddy's ears. But anyways, so she's feeling a little bit better right now. I gave her some Tylenol, so she's playing, and so I thought I would go ahead and make this video. Okay, so to start, just to, I don't know, kind of give you guys an idea. If you haven't already watched my video about our pregnancy journey, it did take us quite a while to not really get pregnant, but keep a pregnancy. I lost our first 3 babies before her. Quit headbutting me, that hurts. But with her, I found out I was pregnant August 30th. It happened to be the day before we moved into our house. Anyways, but I found out I was pregnant August 30th with her, and then our due date was May 14th, which is also my mom's birthday. That's 2 days after Liam's birthday, and that is right before our first wedding anniversary. So it was kind of funny, but anyways, so let's see, I was about 35 weeks and I started having a lot of problems. I started getting really dizzy and lightheaded, and if I stood up I would just see spots. It was really weird, but that went on for about 2 weeks. The week before I had her was when my blood pressure started giving me problems. There was one day I went in and it was like 144/98 or something. It's pretty high, but they monitored me for about an hour and then they decided I was fine. You know, baby was fine, she was moving fine, everything was okay, and they told me, you know, stay on bed rest and until your 36-week appointment, I believe. It was like that next week. So I waited, or I tried to wait until then, but so I was 36 weeks in one day. It was a Monday, and the same thing happened. I got really out of breath. I kept getting dizzy. I was at home alone, so I was really freaking out, especially because I had Bryce with me. So I called my sister and I'm like, hey, I really need you to come get me and take me to the doctor. Something's wrong. And so she came and got me. We went to the doctor, and again, my blood pressure was about the same. It was about 140/80 or something like that. It wasn't really, really high, but it was high enough to cause them to be like, okay, something's going on. So they did the same thing. They monitored me and then sent me home. So 2 days later, that Wednesday, I went back for kind of a checkup, but I was still having those dizzy spells. Something was wrong, obviously. So they said, go ahead and do the 24-hour urine sample, and then bring that back in on Friday morning so that we can see what if there's any signs of protein, because so far in any of my urine tests, there was no signs at all. So I went back that Friday morning, turned it in, had my normal, weekly appointment. And then That was like 9 in the morning, so I left. I actually went to Target and looked around at baby stuff, and I went to grab something to eat. I got to my parents about 11 or so, 11:30. It wasn't too long after that. They actually called me and they said, okay, you need to get up here like ASAP because your levels are extremely high. So, like the levels of protein in my urine, it was really, really high. She said, you definitely have severe preeclampsia and you need to be induced ASAP. She said, go home, pack a bag, have someone in your family go pack the rest of the bags later, but you come up here, be up here within 3 hours. So I start panicking. My dad runs in the room because I'm like bawling, like hyperventilating, bawling because I can't freaking breathe. I was so scatterbrained. I was like, oh my God, what the heck? So my dad was like, just breathe, calm down, and then go home. So I called Zach and I'm like, well, it's time to have a baby. And he's like, wait, what? And I said, yeah, it's time to have a baby. And he was like, your water broke? And I said, no. I said, but the doctor called and said my urine sample showed such high levels of protein that we need to get up there like ASAP. And he was like, oh my God, okay, I'll meet you at home. So literally, y'all, I live like maybe 20 minutes, or my parents lived like maybe 20 minutes from where our house was at the time. And by the time I got there, Zach he was at work when I called him. He had already had Harper's bag packed. Well, I mean, I had it packed, but he had it ready. He had my bag ready. He had her car seat in the car. He was already in and out of the shower. He was ready to go right then. So, what are you doing, you monkey? So anyways, so we get up there. I hadn't dilated at all. Well, they said I was at like half of a fingertip or at a fingertip, whatever. Wasn't even a 1 yet. So when I got there, the first thing they did was check me, and then they got my IV put in, and then we had to wait for a room. So after I called my mom, and she was like, I'll be up there, as soon as I get out of work. And at this point it was like 3:30 maybe. So she came up there as soon as she got out of work. They got us into a room about 4, and by 6 that night they had started giving me the Cervidil, which is 2 little tiny pills that you take. They give you 2 to take, and then you have to wait 6 hours in between each one of those. Well, so after my first dose, I still wasn't dilating. They could tell I was thinning just a little tiny bit, but not enough to really make a difference. So I got another dose of that at midnight, and then the same thing at 6 a.m., and then the same thing at midnight again. Well, after my 4th dose, I was finally at a 1.5, I believe. I was not dilating like at all. But after my 4th dose, they were like, let's go ahead and start Pitocin. I was like, okay, awesome, fine. I wasn't feeling any contractions really. I mean, I was, but they weren't bothering me. I could tell they were happening just because my belly was getting so tight, but they weren't really painful. So they were like, go ahead, eat something, get something on your belly. That was at my 3rd dose. They told me to eat something. You have until 9 o'clock to eat. I was like, great, okay. So, anyways, they gave me my 4th dose at midnight again. Well, they also gave me this peanut, it's called a peanut ball. It literally, it looks like a peanut. It just goes like this. But they gave me that, and then I laid on that for probably 4 hours. I know I slept 2 of the hours on the ball. So at 3 that morning, I was at like a 3, and then that's when I slept on the peanut ball from about 3 until about 5. Well, at 5, when I woke up, my water had broke. Well, I thought I had peed myself, to be honest. I called the nurse and I'm like, I think I peed myself, because I had a catheter, because they also had to give me magnesium for my blood pressure because it kept spiking up so high. Because like that Friday morning when I went into my appointment, my blood pressure, literally, it was 163 over 113. So that was like, they were afraid I was gonna have a seizure during labor. So anyways, I had to get that magnesium, but since I had that, I had to get the catheter. So, like I said, at 5, my water broke. It took me probably 10 minutes. Like, the nurse came in, checked me. She was like, yep, definitely your water. Checked to see what I was dilated to. I was at a 5. I think I was at a 5, maybe a 5.5. I don't remember for sure. Anyways, so I was at like a 5.5 or 5. I don't really remember. And they, let's see. So she did that, and it took me like 10 minutes to get, Zach was asleep on the floor on like a little cot thing, and my mom was over on the couch. So I was like throwing stuff at them, yelling at them, like, wake up, please wake up. My water broke. Well, my mom, whenever the nurse walked out, my mom heard her when she shut the door. And she was like, what's wrong? And I was like, I think my water broke. And she was like, what? Your water broke? And that's, Zach popped up so fast. I've never seen it. It was like freaking lightning. He popped up and he was like, your water broke? Oh my God, call the nurse. And he goes running out of the room. And I'm like, she's already been in here and gone, you guys. Like, what the heck? Anyway, so they came back in, and that was about 6, maybe that was like 5:30, I don't remember for sure. When they came back in though with the doctor was like, you know, don't wait too long because when you want your epidural, because it'll take about, you know, at least 30 minutes before they'll be in here from when you need them. So I was like, okay, well by then it still wasn't, I really wasn't in that much pain, but I went ahead and got the epidural. That was at 5:30 when I got the epidural. So it was like 5 when my water broke, and that's when the contractions really started. And so after I got the epidural, they also had gave me, when they gave me the peanut ball, they gave me a shot of Stadol so that I would relax because I was so tensed up and my blood pressure was still kind of going high. They wanted me to have that to relax and be able to sleep some because I hadn't slept literally at all. So anyways, so at 7 they came in again and checked me, and I was at a 5.5 still, I think. Maybe a 6, I don't really remember for sure. It's all jumbled up in my brain. Anyway, so when they did that, they gave me, let me think of this. I think at 8 I was at a 7, and then from like, no, at 8 I was at a 6, and then at 8:30 I was at a 7, and at 8:45 I was at a, let me think of this. Literally, like within 15 minutes, I went from a 7 to a 10, and I was like, I need to push now, because they were waiting for the doctor to get in there, so that he could come and check me and see how I was doing, blah, 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 whatever. So they wanted the doctor to come in there, but before he even made it there, I was like, I need to push, like now. My epidural did not take. It literally, like, that is the worst pain I've ever been in my life. But it just got to the point where I was like, I have to breathe, you know. That's what I kept being told to, is you need to breathe, you need to breathe, you need to breathe. So anyways, so I started pushing about 8:45. About 2 or 3 pushes in, I ended up blacking out, and when I came to, everybody was like screaming at me, like, Logan, you need to push, you need to push. If you don't push, we're going back for a C-section. And I was like, oh my God. And Zach, you know, was like over here slapping my face, like, wake up, are you okay, are you okay? So, anyways, I ended up, when I came to, he was like, the doctor was like, you have to push, give everything you've got to push. So I think I pushed like 2 or 3 more times. Literally, she was here in 15 minutes. By 9:01, she was here. And she weighed 16 pounds and 10 ounces. She was 19 and a half inches long. And, yeah, she was perfect. That's all I can explain. That's all I can say. After she was here, I had zero pain. I did not care about anything I was feeling at the time. All I cared about was her. Like literally while they were sitting there finishing everything, I was just over like looking at, just admiring how beautiful she was. I remember like breaking down crying when they set her on my chest for the first time, because I just, you know, after losing 3 babies, it was really hard, and it was not necessarily hard, I guess, but it was really emotional to finally have her here and know that she was perfectly fine, because she was 3 weeks early. I was only 37 weeks. I was 36 weeks and 5 days when I was induced. I was in labor like from the time my contractions started to the time I had her. Literally, it was 39 hours. It was crazy. Anyways, but we ended up having to stay in the hospital for 6 full days. We went in that Friday and we didn't leave until that Thursday afternoon. We had to I had to stay a couple extra days because I had to be on magnesium still for 24 hours after I had her, just for the simple fact that I was having so many blood pressure issues. And then she ended up getting jaundice, and they couldn't get her levels to go down. They were at like 17, I think, and they had to be under 12 or 11. I don't really remember for sure. But they couldn't get it down past 13 for the first 24 hours, and so we had to stay another extra day. And then they had to monitor her for another 6 hours after she went back under the light to make sure that, you know, like her level stayed as long as she was out of the light. But anyways, that is my whole birth story. It was the easiest labor I've ever, I say ever had, but she was my only baby so far. But I can only pray that if we do decide to have another baby, that it goes as smoothly, the delivery part goes as smoothly as hers did. My pregnancy was pretty freaking horrible. I was sick literally every morning, every afternoon, every night, all day long, every day, from beginning to freaking end. But like I said, I would do all of that over again. But thank you guys for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed hearing my story. Like I said, she's pretty perfect. I know every mom says that, but literally, like, I could not have asked for a better baby. But anyways, so that is all for this video. Ow! Look, I say she's perfect, but look how mean she is. But anyways, that's all for this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Ow! To watch more videos. And I will see you guys in the next video. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. You say bye-bye? Oh, you're going to be sweet now? Okay. Anyways, bye guys.